Welcome to the Dad Livin' Podcast. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Hosted by four best friends who are dads first and storytellers second. We dive into the real, messy, hilarious side of fatherhood. From diaper disasters to teenage drama, work-life balance to building a legacy, we keep it real, fun, and meaningful. Whether you're a rookie dad or a pro, this is your weekly reminder you're not alone. Grab a drink, kick back, and join the conversation.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Dad Livin'. Hello. How are you doing,
buddy?
Johnny?
I'm doing just peachy keen over here.
Just
Dougie.
peachy keen. Nice little Friday night.
Yeah, man.
Got a little beer.
Toast.
Toast. Cheers
out
to everyone
there.
out there. Hopefully, when we release this on a weekday, you're thinking about being here in the garage with us. Not in the garage.
Maybe we should actually post up in the garage.
I'm ready. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to use Gary's garage, though.
Ooh, yeah.
Your dad has the nicest garage, just for everyone. I mean, heck, we spent some time out there, and Gary,
Very proud of that garage.
yeah.
Most spotless garage you can think of.
What was it? It was like your baby shower or something like that. I remember
the
diaper party.
party.
Yeah. I remember being, oh God, dude. Yeah, that was nice. That was a good night.
Yeah, he's always happy when the parties end in the garage.
Gary in his garage. Shout out to Gary. Gary. So hopefully you're enjoying a nice beer in your garage right now, Gary, while you're listening to us.
Yeah.
Not
Not in the car.
Don't drink a beer in the car. All right. That 1970 again. Jeez. Man, oh man. Well, welcome to you all out there. We're Dad Livin' tonight. You got Johnny and Yoko
Stuck with us.
Yeah. You'll be stuck with us today. And today's topic, like you already saw before you clicked, is youth sports. So we're going to be covering the
Oh, I like the full title. Would you?
okay. The Youth Sports Industrial Complex.
Industrial complex. That's what it's become. It's become a business, a multi-billion-dollar business.
Ching. Yep.
It's screwing our kids in their development. That's going to be
Well,
my hot take.
I mean, look at the trickle down effect, the pro athletes and now college athletes. I mean, geez Louise, that's unbelievable for me to even think about that college athletes are getting paid. Makes sense. It's popular. People got to make money.
I don't like it. I mean, I'm happy they're being compensated because these schools have been, raking it in off these athletes off their backs for years. But you can't really follow a college team anymore. The teams change every year, and the transfer portal and all this stuff. So I don't know. I think something's got to change with that. But
yeah, first hot take of the night, right?
Yeah,
we didn't even plan that. How crazy
Yeah.
is that?
yeah,
Well,
so
there you go.
sports is more of a natural conversation for us, I think. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yes. We'll try to keep it short and sweet. I think the goal is today, as we're kind of talking about this, is to have fun while we're going through it. I pulled some cool stats. I was telling Johnny before this, as we were going through our notes, I think I pulled some things that really kind of, they hit hard. Like when you're talking about the average cost for some of these sports, and you may be a newborn dad out there or a dad with a 3-year-old that you're like, oh, my daughter shouldn't dance, or they're a t-ball, and soak it in, because I think as it evolves, you start getting more practices, you start getting more games, you start getting more expenses, and we're going to kind of walk you through right now. I have a 6 and a 7-year-old. You have a 7 and a
7 and 9,
9, almost 10-year-old in that case. So we're going to kind of ground it in that and really talk through that. And then, even as kids get older, which I know a lot of you out there listening have older kids or kids that are in college, like there's just so many different layers, and we're going to try to peel back as many layers of that onion as we're talking through this to have fun.
Start peeling.
Start peeling right there. So, the first segment was really, I mean, how deep are we? I still can't say that. I came up with this outline a little bit later at night, a couple days ago, and then I'm like, wow, I put segment 1. How deep are we in?
Going deep.
Ball. If anyone listened to our last episode, the birds and the bees conversation, how deep do you stick it, Dad?
How deep you go?
That's going to be our new saying. We're going to create shirts. Oh my God, we're going to be those dads. Okay.
That'd be a good shirt.
So I think when we talk about our families and what it has, I have 6 and 7-year-old. my son, who's 6, is in ice hockey and roller and baseball.
Congratulations, you picked the most expensive sport.
Right? God dang it. So, and my daughter's 7 and she's in soccer and started roller hockey. So we're in that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, we got baseball going on right now, some soccer. My daughter is doing softball for the first time. And off season, we also do basketball for my son. My daughter's in gymnastics. I think I got it covered.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So, and we're right in the middle of spring. How many days are you at the field, the rink, the gymnastic? How many days are you there?
Every day of my life, except for tonight on Friday. Is the only free night of practice, but occasional games on Friday nights. So yeah.
Well, let's shape it up like this. So, what do you have going on this weekend? Like, let's frame it that.
Well, I got to get up bright and early tomorrow morning for 8 a.m. ball game, followed by a 10 a.m. ball game, and we'll have a short break for a 2:30 soccer game.
All right.
And I think so. Yeah, Sunday's off. It's Mother's Day. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm similar. We have an 8 a.m. roller hockey game with both kiddos, and then we have a 9 a.m. baseball game with Gus, and then we have a 12:45 dual game situation. The dual game situation.
So
we're gonna have to split up. I coach ice hockey, so we have an ice hockey game at 12:45. My daughter has a soccer game, so my wife's gonna have to take her there. And
that sucks when you have to do that. You want to be there for everything, but what else are you gonna do?
well, and we're coming to head on the spring ice hockey season, and my wife missed the last game. And yeah, I know she wants to be there. It's fun. It's exciting. It's like this past year, my son started. It clicked. Which anyone that's played ice hockey, it is a very hard sport. There's a lot you have to coordinate between your skates, the ice, heck, the amount of pads you're wearing, the puck, your stick, everything. So when they get it, it just happens. And he's there. It's so cool. It's fun watching. So I know she wants to be there. Same thing with my daughter. She's so competitive in soccer. So I'm going to miss that. So yeah, I'm right there with you. But it's the things we have to sacrifice as parents, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you like? I remember growing up, my dad coached my brother's baseball team, so like he missed a lot of my baseball games and soccer games when he was doing that. I know, like nowadays, I see like a lot of these games, like they have the apps where they're streaming it. Yeah, I was at one of her ball games last week, and I saw the guy sitting next to me was watching his grandson playing college ball somewhere. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, they have these. Deutman who's not here tonight. He's an officer, so he a lot of times works overnights, misses some of the kiddo stuff. So a lot of the rinks in the St. Louis area all have cameras where it's a subscription. Shocker, but yeah, you can watch any of the games. So he'll watch it in his squad car.
That's
that
pretty
stuff,
cool. Yeah,
which is
something we didn't have
cool,
back in the day. Yeah.
Technology. So technology is awesome. So okay, so obviously we have a lot going on with that. If you
like
were
to pause that for a second, like, okay, we're at the age right now where I don't think, tell me I'm wrong, but like, I don't think we should be specializing in one sport year round. I know like there's already kids doing select at this age and all that, but like we very much tried to keep seasons and, like we have some overlap with baseball and soccer right now, but that's going to end in a couple weeks and we're just in baseball season for the rest of the summer, So things will start to lighten up a little bit. We won't have something going on every night, but it's still, still a big part of our summer. So.
Yeah, doing the different challenge thing. I love that because Gus, like our son, only wanted to play hockey. That was his only thing. Like, I want to play hockey. He's like, great. I'm glad you love it, but what about baseball? What about soccer? And he's like,
Yeah.
And then we threw the ball with him outside, which story you mentioned last time. And he was like, yes. And of course, it helps when his best friend is playing on the team too. So, and it's CYC, so it's cheap. It's right by our house, and it's fun. So, of course, he's having a blast. So, different challenges, different movements, different awareness items. Coolest thing, last game. So, you talk about missing. My wife had to work concession stand duty, so I had both kiddos. We had a baseball game and then a hockey game. So I'm literally kind of corralling them too. It's early in the morning on a Saturday, crisp morning here in St. Louis, just gorgeous. And Gus was at third base, and I'm sitting right third base. My daughter was playing on the playground, so I could just watch him. I had nothing to do but just watch him. And he made this just sick backhand play. He got the ball, caught it, stepped on the base, got the out. I know there's no outs when you're 6, but then threw it and threw a strike to first base.
Nice.
And I was like,
This
dude,
is his first year playing.
second year. He
Okay.
played T-ball last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
But I looked at him like, dude, Gus. And, one of the things I'm trying to do is not like, yes, I can still say like, hey, I'm proud of you for that. But when he came off, I'm like, man, aren't you so proud of yourself by doing that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get him to feel proud for himself. And he's like, he got so excited. He's like, heck yeah. And
awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah, just a cool moment. Cool moment.
I know, man. Brody made a play in the field last weekend. They're at the age right now where like, it's a shocker when like the play was a hit to the outfield. Brody was playing second, and the kid like threw a frozen rope from the outfield, and Brody caught it and turned around and tagged him out. And he's like, turned around. Did you guys see that?
What's going on?
Like, holy cow. Yeah. Like, I mean, last year was like, that ball's not getting caught, and like there's no chance at a play. So it's cool.
Do you remember that? Like, do you remember playing the youth sports and when it just clicked?
Something clicks.
I remembered. So you remember, we used to have that field at JB. It was called Matthews Field.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because it had the fence in the back.
It was like the only field we had with an actual outfield fence.
Yeah. I know we practiced there a lot. I remember
it had lights. It was a big deal.
Night game.
Yeah.
And it was a night game.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being so cool. My grandparents were there. My parents were there. And I remember it because it was the first time where I felt in control of me and what I was doing, my swing. I was playing catcher that night, and I felt really good about what I was doing. It was like the first time it clicked, and I hit a home run.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling, and I could still see the ball. I was late on the swing, and I hit it over right field. The right field fence. And I remember I didn't know what to do, but I ran around the bases. And then the next at bat, I know this is 1990, whatever it was, 95 or 94. Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt. I got walked intentionally because of what I did before. And I felt this like, hell yeah. Cause
scared me now.
All you saw is the professional players doing that. And I was like, this is freaking so cool. So yeah, I remember that was the first time it clicked for me.
You felt like a king if you hit one out there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. What about you?
As far as for me clicking, I don't know. I was never a great hitter in ball till like later I kind of developed, but like I became a good fielder. And like I remember like, you got stuck in the outfield because you couldn't, field or catch in the infield. And then like I started, catch all the fly balls out there. And like I started making like some really good like diving plays and stuff. And I was like, oh, like I'm out here because nobody else can do what I can do.
Right. At that point. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I have like, cause like you go from like, oh, I'm the worst on the team, I don't fit in, to like, oh, I have a purpose on the team kind of thing, and like I have my role, like
little Johnny's not on the bench anymore. Dude, you were always good at, I felt you were always good at basketball.
I was, cause I had my growth spurt early in middle school, so I was one of the taller ones, and then I got to high school and everybody passed me up. I can't hang anymore. So,
yeah, let's be real. I think the only shorter guy on there was Stephen Miller, and I still
could ball. Yeah,
dude, he could ball. Like that kid. I think all he did was shoot.
He could shoot. Yeah.
Wow.
But no, probably my biggest moment was soccer. Like I started soccer late. I was late to the game. And then like after the first year, our team went select and they invited everybody the first year. And then I made the team. And then but I was always kind of the weaker one. I was behind catching up to everybody. And I remember there was an out of town tournament in Champaign, Illinois. And it was like my breakout moment. Like I played defense and I was shutting down everybody. Like nobody got by me. I was like slide tackling everybody, clearing the ball.
I can see you doing that.
And I saved a couple goals. And like when we won the tournament, and the coach like gave me the trophy first as like symbolic MVP. And I was like, wow, like I felt so behind. I was like just trying to hang on the team, and then like now I'm like I'm arrived. I'm actually a good soccer player now, kind of thing, you know. And that was I just remember like how much that did for my confidence back then at a
Oh,
young
hell
age.
yeah.
You know, I was what 11, 12 or whatever. So yeah, it's cool.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and
Back
yeah.
to the glory days.
Back to-
It was all downhill after that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Right. I remember, I remember playing roller hockey for the first time when I was 10 and meeting the team. And, you know, it was kind of like a Mighty Ducks type thing. We'd practice outside and then we'd play indoors and stuff. You know, it was definitely a little bit different, but our coach was, I mean, he was awesome. He was one of the coaches at the time that I needed. Very uplifting, very positive. If you messed up, he'd let you know in a very positive way. And, you know, then also help you come up with a solution on like how you fail forward. So I learned a lot more from him than I thought at that time. I remember my first year trying to get my feet under me, trying to do those things, and made it to the playoffs, went to the finals, and we were tied in the last game. I was going up the right wing, and I saw an opening, and I shot it, and I scored the game-winning goal. Yeah, which was cool. So I have this team photo of all of us, and we became really, really all close friends. A lot of kids from like Arnold and Afton and all over the place. But yeah, there's one with me and the trophy, and with the whole team and the
Yeah.
coach. It was a cool moment, very cool moment.
So I mean, that's like a cool thing with sports. Like, you know, I could probably think of a few more things, but like, you know, you play all year long, you grind it out, and like you have your ups and downs, but like there might be that one moment of glory that
Oh,
is going to stick with you forever, you know, and that's just ingrains in you your love for the games, you know, and
yeah,
that's what it should be all about. And I think a lot of what's kind of been lost and missing, and you know, at these young ages, especially where our kids at, it should be more about development and having fun and learning the game still, you know, and you see a lot of these more select and club teams, like it's just all about winning. You recruit and find all these kids to try to put these all-star teams together, and like they don't know how to play together as a team.
right,
They never play together, kind of
right,
thing. See a lot of that going on. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot more podcasts lately of like pro athletes, you know, saying echoing the same thing. Like the little leagues are dying.
oh,
You know, you're pulling all the best kids from the local muni teams and putting them on these teams to ride the
oh
bench.
yeah.
You know, and
Well, yeah, and I was looking at a lot of different things, like, you know, in this case, Landon Donovan, soccer wise, he just came on CNBC and came out on the podcast and saying our soccer youth system is crap. It's not good, and he explained that, like in this case, like 6 and 7 year olds, instead of letting them learn and make mistakes, you have these uber competitive coaches, you know, and it's a pay to play model, which is such bullshit. And I agree with that too. I think we came from parents and middle class that gave up a lot. But I mean, heck, my dad had to scrape 2 pennies together to make $1 in a lot of cases to try to figure out how he got equipment on me and how, you know, I could still have fun and still be in hockey and baseball and all these things, much like probably, you know, Gary and Terry in that case too. And yes, I feel like it's gotten out of control now being in the system where, you know, I kind of mentioned CYC because it's cheap and affordable.
yeah,
Yeah, of course. It's like $90 and you have to do concession stand duty and you get 12 or 15 games and some practices and a whole bunch of, like, that's how it should be in today's world. I think Landon Donovan hit that. And then, you know, a wider American win now culture. Everything's win now, win now. Like if you're not winning, you're losing. And I disagree with that, especially as a head coach of an ice hockey team. I think it's about teaching and, you know, obviously different players on different levels. You have to challenge them in a way, but in no way, shape, or form am I going out there and saying, win, or you lost that, or you did this because of this, you did this. Like, you
well,
can't
yeah,
do that.
you got to let them learn from their failures and their losses, and that's how you grow and get better. And you know, you don't want to let these kids feel pressured where if they make an error in the field, they're going to ride the bench the rest of the game now, you
Right.
know?
Right. I agree. I agree. I saw something, and this happened a couple weeks ago. My daughter, who's 7, soccer. Now she's being coached by the high school soccer coach for one of the local high schools in St. Louis that teaches or that coaches the girls soccer. So obviously uber competitive, but we got to a point where we were down 1-0. Second half, probably about, I would say like 10 minutes left. And my daughter had played one shift in the second half. She was on the bench. Well, when they were supposed to rotate her in, they sat some of the girls that maybe aren't as athletic or skilled and kept some out there that are more athletic and skilled. And that was the first time I'm like, I even looked at my wife and looked at her. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I got a little pissed because obviously being a coach, doing these things, it's like, I don't care if my lesser players are out there and we lose by 10 or we win by 10.
Mhm.
I'm going to be fair and even to these kids because they deserve it. And I think for the first time, I'm like, she's fucking 7,
And this
man.
is
Like,
CYC,
come on.
like-
No. This isn't this is a little bit, this is like the step above CYC.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, they're 7 years old.
Yeah.
Like I get the point in winning and I get the point in being competitive. But I felt like in this scenario, it was a little bit too competitive, especially with my daughter. You can see at the end, she was like, yeah, I did okay. Like, and God, she felt so down. So I had to pick her back up. My wife had to pick her back. And that sucks. A 7-year-old should not be feeling like that. And there's probably people out there that disagree with what I'm saying as far as like winning and losing, which I love the winning and losing.
At 7.
But at 7, it's far too much. Like it's bullshit. And I come from a very, like, I'm very competitive. I'm very win or lose, but let's save that to when they're 9 and 10. And when they start getting really competitive, that's where you start to drive that for sure.
I mean, well, going back to my soccer days, like I remember, like I think it was an out of town tournament, and I wasn't playing great at the time, and like I didn't get into the game at all, and I was like down in the dumps, and coach was like, "Keep your head up, you got to work harder." I'm just thinking like my mom and dad drove me all the way out here to watch me sit. Like this sucks. It's
Crazy,
you
man.
know?
I mean,
But
yeah. I mean, I remember playing baseball with you and like the early stages, and our dads probably were coaching and hanging out. I mean, shit. The great thing about that when we were younger, it was like, what position you want to play?
Yeah.
Catcher. Okay, great. You've never played catcher before. No. Let's have some fun with it. Or pitcher or this or that. Oh my God, man. I remember trying all the positions and like some, like once again, you're like, oh shit, I don't know how to catch a fly ball. Like, okay, you're probably not going to play that position again. But then you realize, oh wow, I'm pretty good at ground balls. I'm pretty good at catcher. I'm damn good pitcher. Like, who knows? Let them explore it.
well,
Right?
if they never get the chance, they're not going to figure it out, and maybe they'll play that position and like, okay, this isn't for me. I gave it a shot. But you got to let them feel it out. And I don't know, man. Like baseball is interesting because, like, last year we went from kid pitch in fall. This is the first time we did kid pitch. It is like a huge adjustment,
Yeah.
and like now, like there's more happening on the field, but like they are still learning the game. They still don't know, just situational what to do in a lot of cases and like what all the rules imply. And I mean, it's a lot to take in for them.
It is. It is.
And-
I agree.
But
Yeah. And, I mean, I think there's different things like Tim Howard, the goalie who actually played Premier League and was really competitive. He said the same
Yeah.
thing with Landon Donovan. And yeah, I mean, I agree with the whole movement behind it and why some of these things are failing. Like Landon Donovan pointing out that as a US based soccer team, like if we're looking at the men's, the women, you all kick ass, you all are incredible. For the men's US soccer team in the knockout stage, we have not won a game since 2002 in that stage, which is, to me, now we're talking competitive, is unacceptable. And you kind of have to backtrack to understand the roots. And this interview was awesome. If you haven't listened to it, just look up Landon Donovan Youth Sports. It's absolutely incredible. And his philosophy is spot on because he's talking about the 6 and the 7-year-olds being pressured to win, which the funniest thing, I watched this 2 days after my daughter went through this. I'm like, holy shit. Boom, check, 1. And then you start seeing, okay, now when they get in the competitive stages in high school, there's a bunch of pressure and a lot of kids that have the ability that aren't coached correctly, which I think you and I can relate to that when we talk about last year when we talked about high school baseball. Spot on, check 2. And then when you start to talk about college, the gap between college and now we're talking soccer now. So like the MLS is so significant where if you don't go from high school to in the MLS, you're not going to make it because the coaching in the college area is so they're focusing on the wrong things. They're not uplifting and coaching people to get to that next level. They don't care. They're there for a paycheck. They're there for that and to basically sign in, sign out type thing. So, and he said, if you watch a college game, you'll find this out in a heartbeat. If you watch a college versus a high school game, the difference in the energy, the approach, everything that goes into it. The high school game, you see a lot more engagement.
Yeah.
And then the college game, it feels like he said at one point like he couldn't even watch it. So it's like spot on again. And you understand the gap with now soccer and why the U.S. men's team isn't there because we're not fostering that. We're not bringing that through the system.
Well, look at baseball. Like we're watching baseball right now. Cardinals, Jordan Walker, he's having a breakout season. He's only 23.
Yeah.
I think he'll be 24 this year.
Yep.
That used to be the age where prospects would finally break to the majors. You know, they brought him up. He's still a baby at 20 years old.
Right.
And he's learning a new position on the fly in the major leagues. Like they did not develop him. They did not invest in these players the same as they used to. And they put all this pressure on him to you're a top draft pick. You got to produce for us next year.
Right.
Like we're not even going to let you get 1,000 at bats in the minor leagues now.
Right. But what is it? Their undula oblongata isn't developed. No, I'm joking. It's their frontal cortex.
Yeah.
I was going to pull the water boy, the undula oblongata. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That. But yeah, their frontal cortex isn't developed until they're 25. And it makes sense because especially like using that.
I guess they're trying. There's a commercial on for promoting youth baseball right now.
Oh, there you go. Free bat and ball kit, huh? Yeah. I mean, you know, and I think a lot of places are doing it right. I think, you know, in a lot of cases like youth baseball for the most part, I mean, you can talk towards that a lot more. But when I see the younger, they're doing a lot of the right things, even though do I agree with a lot of the coaches that are out there? No, I think they need to give more training.
It's hard. I mean, with rec ball, like, you know, we get one practice a week and there's only an hour to do so much, you know, and like it's so limited where like we don't even have time to work on hitting. Like that's for us to get your kids to the cages, hit off the tee at home, like work with them. You know, so it's just there's only so much they can learn in a short time. It's the kids that like, okay, if they just are in love with the game, they're the kind of kid that's going to be out in the backyard playing ball by themselves, like day in, day out. Then I totally get like at a young age getting them on a more advanced team and everything.
Oh, heck yeah.
They love it. And if that's all they want to do, great. You know, I've realized with our kids, like they're not totally athletically gifted. If they're ever going to be good, they're going to have to work at it, you know? And if, you know, they're not at the age right now where they just love the game so much, that's all they want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to pressure on them where, hey, you know, you're going to get a scholarship. We got to, you know, get all the best coaches and personal training and everything. And, you know, I know other people are going to feel differently. Like, you know, rec ball and travel ball is a business, you know, and
hands down. Yes.
I talk to my neighbor at the bus stop every day. His kids play select ball and hockey and everything. And that's their life. That's all they do. And, you know, he feels strongly about it, but at the same time, like, he's like, I told my kids if they want to quit everything and we could just go to the lake all summer, I'm cool with that. You know?
Right. Let them be kids. Let them have fun. Right.
So,
and that's what I was talking to my neighbor too, because I think of it this way. Both of his kids, one of his kids just turned 13. The other is a little bit younger. Both are in select soccer in a very competitive Gallagher here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Very competitive. And they're very good. Let's just say that. One's in Kansas City this weekend, and one has a big tournament here in St. Louis. So now they have to split up, kind of going back to that. And that's tough, man, because I think you said it too. Like, man, I want to be here for, you know, my other son, and I have to be here, which is tough. Now I can still kind of watch it, but they're at the same time, and the same thing. And then, I mean, that's tough, man.
This is where I get torn because, like, you know, like I said, I talked to my neighbor about this. And he's like, look, like the gap between rec ball and travel ball, like travel ball kids are going to play 2-3 times as many games. They're practicing multiple times a week. Like, they are going to have so many more reps in
Yeah,
before they get to high school, where, like, if these other kids were not just natural athletes, they're not going to have a shot, you know? And it's like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, I want my kids to have a childhood and be well rounded and have other interests, you know, where it's like, hey, I know like professional sports would be a long shot. College sports is probably a long shot. So,
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree.
you know,
As long as they're having fun. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we both got to that point where, I mean, it wasn't fun. I remember both things. Unfortunately, it was high school, and yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. I took a break off baseball to focus on hockey, and when I got back to baseball, I realized that gap. I mean, it was 2 years, but during that 2 years, kids started throwing about 20 miles per hour faster,
throwing harder, throwing
curveballs,
curveballs. Yeah.
sliders. Sliders got me every single time. I don't care who you are. If you think you can hit a slider without looking at it, you are crazy. Shout out to Chris Panopoulos. He was a lefty that was like 5'5". Chris, I'm gonna joke around with this if you're listening. Little short guy, but God, man, he could throw like 89, 90 mile per hour fastball, and then he can jam you with a slider in.
Yeah,
That he was absolutely incredible. And I remember the first time he was a really good friend of ours in high school. First time I faced him, I was frozen, couldn't move. I just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, the gap's there, and I think at the end of the day, if you're out there listening, promote the fun. That's my number one thing is as a coach, as a parent on both sides, promote the fun. And if you see the coaches kind of taking it a little bit far, don't be afraid to have that conversation. I as a coach, first year coach, that is, I'm going to speak again. If a parent brought that up to me or talked to me about something they felt wasn't fair or wasn't right, I'm all ears. Like at the end of the day, I understand my job is really important for these kids to have fun and just at the end of the day, maybe learn a thing or two while they're out there. And if you see something, 'cause when you're a coach and you're in it, it's tough. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces. There's just a lot. So if you don't know what to look for, if you don't have the help, if you don't have the assistant coaches, that can be tough. So be vocal about it, but don't be defensive or angry or anything like that. Just be factual in that case and say, hey, like I think this is happening. And it will. Like you'll feel frustrated at times as a parent, but just know that your kids are working through some really incredible things for sure.
That's
So,
all I try to drill in my kids at this point is just all I'm ever going to ask you at this point is try your best and have fun.
right.
There's, I've seen, there's a local sports journalist, Bernie Miklasz, I listen to a lot.
Oh yeah, Bernie.
And he's brought up a lot of cases where like, athletes that like they had all the talent in the world that they could have been one of the greats, but they didn't love the game. And you see it at a young age even. It's like, okay, if you want to burn these kids out to the point where they start to dread showing up to practice, like, well, there's so much that's getting lost on it's more than just winning the game. There's so much character that can be developed through sports and these
Oh
kids.
yeah,
And that's why I feel strongly about they should always have, some sport to hold on to.
I agree.
That's why I'm big about like, hey, let's figure out what do you guys want to do. And, if something sticks, like we're going to invest more into that.
Yeah.
I mean, just building character, learning how to work with others, having fun with teammates,
Yes.
building camaraderie. There's so much to be gained from it. So,
In really kind of pushing the kids to find their passion. I know Doit, his daughter wasn't big into the sports, and she found her passion in cheerleading. Great. Yeah. So push them to find something, and it could be engineering, could be chess. I know you talked about that with Brody, which I'm
yeah,
like,
I mean,
that is such a cool sport. I've been studying a lot, and I've been talking with Gus about it. Who my son is a very engineer mindset.
yeah.
He would kick ass in it, and we're both learning it together.
Yeah,
But
not a physical thing, but very much a mental sport. And we're trying to get them turned on to maybe taking some music lessons.
oh yeah,
Dude, at their school they learn they did violin this year in third grade. I'm like, dude,
I know
I don't
some.
think we ever advanced off
No,
recorders,
no.
you know?
I know some places do
Um,
guitars and
yeah.
drums, and it's like
So like that, I mean,
great,
that's a
man.
really good opportunity, and that can do so much to develop their mind,
I
and
agree. I agree. I agree. So, but yeah, so just encourage the kids.
yeah.
I mean, to get out there and do something. So, all right. Now, for us parents, in the last segment, we're going to talk about some costs. All right. Ooh.
Mhm.
Now, if you're a new parent and you haven't, been out there, okay, this is going to be a little scary for you. All right. Just know, like, hey, there's different levels. There's different things like you were talking about, opportunities, and there's also sports that don't cost as much. So, all right, I'm going to ask you, what do you feel like is the most expensive sport, Johnny?
It's probably something I wouldn't think of, like, I don't know, something crazy like lacrosse or field hockey, but I gotta put ice hockey up
Yep,
there.
yep.
It's gotta be.
Youth ice hockey,
I mean,
youth.
football's a lot of equipment,
Yeah, but football is actually the more affordable side of things. It's
Yeah.
it's less cost. So okay, so from a cost perspective, all right, I pulled some numbers. I did a lot of research and looking at a lot of different things. Youth ice hockey comes in at around $2,500 per year, which I added it up. We're spot on with that.
Really.
I mean, spot on. It's 6 years old. So just to kind of give you perspective, that's
For
a full year.
fees, equipment.
Fees, eye sharpening, travel,
Yeah.
everything that we put into it, right around there. So spot on, $2,500 per year per kid. It is the most expensive sport of any youth sport right now. So let me see. In some cases, if you do travel or A or double A hockey, which there are a lot here in the St. Louis area, like the Junior Blues, regularly several thousands to well into five figures for that.
Jeez, man.
AAA or elite, if you're out of state doing some of those things, five-figure seasons consistently. So yeah, definitely a little bit more of a sport. And I wanted to like say, hey, like I was spot on with about $2,500 for a
Man,
6-year-old,
I
which is
forget.
crazy.
I was listening to podcasts. They were talking about this. I forget which one or who it was, but they're Canadians naturally, but they were just
Hey,
going on about like it's pricing out the blue collar kids that mom and dad
oh, it's
are
insane.
working just normal jobs, and like there's no way they can keep up with all this now.
It's
That's they're saying in hockey, like it's losing a lot of grit of the game because it's all these preppy white collar kids that went to the best universities and had the silver spoons to afford all this,
right,
so
right. And I was fortunate enough this past year to be an assistant coach on Gus's like fall winter team while my daughter was doing learn to play, which learn to play, I recommend that for any
yeah.
kids. I told you about that. Your local community will have a learn to play. They will provide you the equipment free of charge. You'll have to obviously put a check down for a deposit just in case you do decide to keep the equipment. But the ice timer, the sessions, you get a session each week where they have coaches like myself that are on the ice teaching the kids and kind of just
Yeah.
everything from basics like how to skate, how to stick handle, how to do those things. And the cost is right around about $150. That's it. And you get like 15 sessions. It's insane.
That's a good deal. I mean, you can't buy all the equipment for that, can you?
No, that's the
No.
thing. And you get the equipment
A stick
free.
costs $150 now.
Yes, you have to buy your own stick. That's the only thing. But they'll give you the rest, which is great. So look into that because that is fun. If you can keep your kid in there up until I think like 6 or 7. I don't think there's really an age limit. So you got a couple of years if they want to still try to get it. It's low cost, high reward. But oftentimes when you take that next step into like fall and winter, that's where it's right around $1,100, $1,200 for the session. That
Mm.
doesn't include any travel. It doesn't include now any of the equipment that you have to buy
Damn.
because now you have
Yeah.
to invest in that. Or like I said, if you want to keep the equipment, I think it's like $200. So it's not terrible. It's about on par with what you're going to pay for anyways. So yeah, I mean, definitely does a deep dive.
So
in that case.
$1,100 for a non-tournament team.
So yeah, you put stuff into what you call a kiddie fund that is grouped together based on how many tournaments you want to do. So you
Okay.
have a coordinator that then says, okay, here are the 5 tournaments we can enter. Let's pick one out of state. So we actually did one in Jefferson City in state. Was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We stayed in a hotel team. We played floor hockey in the hallways.
Oh yeah.
It was everything I would imagine it would be. So that, you get one of those and then you get a bunch of like St. Louis right now. We have so many good capabilities because of the fact we have so many tournaments in St. Louis, which is
Mm.
fun. So it was fun. I would definitely recommend it, but I want to be straightforward. Like the cost is pretty crazy.
Dude, have you heard of that hockey academy in town? It's like a college prep school. So like instead of sending your kid to high school, they go to this academy where they are learning, but like they play hockey every day.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think CarShield sponsors it.
Hell yeah.
Um
Like, man, where was that?
I just started hearing about it. Now I'm seeing like commercials for it, but I mean, could you imagine the tuition for that?
Oh,
You think
dude,
you're gonna
gotta
send
be
your kid to the
insane.
NHL and you gotta yeah.
Got to be insane at that point. But man, if you're a kid and you love hockey, that would be fun. Like, hey, what are you doing after school? Hey, I'm playing a little stick and puck.
I mean, yeah, it's getting to the point where like, how can you imagine, being serious about hockey without a massive amount of discretionary income?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
I agree. I think the league and a lot of people are can't afford it. I
Yeah.
mean, it is. I heard everyone talking about it, and now that we're in it, it's like holy shit. So if you're out there, don't be deterred by it. There's definitely means like roller hockey. Roller hockey is a cheap alternative. It's not ice hockey, but it's still fun. And like my daughter, that's the first team she's playing on from a hockey standpoint. Even though she did learn to play, she's a great ice hockey skater, and we got that, and that'd be fun for her. And then it's low cost. It's like $150 for a session. You get 12 games, playoffs if we're good enough. So that is a win lose. So it happens.
What this kind of hot take I wanted to touch on. So like,
Ooh,
I was talking to a friend that basically said like it's almost a curse for your kid to be good at a sport because then there's the pressure to get to a club team and play travel team. And it's like, okay, is that the only way? Like, can we just say, hey, does the kid just want to have fun? Why can't we just, what's wrong with the rec team? Like if they don't want to commit to the travel and the schedule
right.
and they still want to play the game, what's wrong with keeping them in a rec league? That's where
Nothing.
I see a lot of kids drop off or they got cut from the select team, so they just give up. It's like, no,
It sucks.
keep playing the game if you love it. And who knows, maybe you'll be a late bloomer and things can click, you never know. But
I mean, they were talking with it was I think like Paul Skeens or some of the Major League Baseball players and saying like hell, like there was a point in high school where I did play baseball. I went tried out, made the team.
yeah,
I was a first baseman or I was a outfielder, and then heck, I didn't even start pitching till I was in college, and all of a sudden it
I mean,
clicked.
obviously gifted athlete, like,
No, 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 but
but
but a late bloomer, and like in that
sure.
case, right?
Well, during the Olympics, I remember the story about Connor Hellebuck, the USA
Yeah,
goalie, and I didn't know this about him, but like he never played like in the junior leagues. I mean, he played for JUCO, a JUCO team.
yeah.
He didn't play at a big university. Probably, I don't know if he got a late round draft pick if he was drafted at all.
Late round. Yeah.
And now he's, leading the USA hockey team to a gold medal, so it's just
That's
proof like if you love the game enough, you work hard enough, there is
and
still a path if you're committed,
yeah,
But
well, and he also made the comment like during that of how meticulous he is on researching the team and their tendencies in shooting and what's going on. So he knows every play on the ice, how they're shooting, when they're shooting. Are they going to go for the screen? Are they going to go for, the glove side, the blocker side, in between the legs? Like, what are they doing? So he's using statistical data in his advantage, which is freaking awesome. I always point back to Yachty. Now, Yadier Molina, he was a gifted athlete. But he was also the hardest working. I'd
his
say
baseball IQ is what kept him being one of the greats for so long.
exactly,
It wasn't just the raw athletic ability.
exactly.
Right.
And one of my favorite quotes. Now, this is obviously as you get older. Now we're kind of transcending sports. But Drew Brees, he was one of the guys I know growing up. Like I idolized him, like he was freaking awesome. But there's a story where coach and a reporter were kind of out on a Friday or Saturday night and had gone back to the facility at about 10, and there's one light on, and it's Drew Brees. and he had poked his head in. It's like, Drew, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, sometimes greatness is lonely. And it was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But it's the work ethic. And I think in a lot of cases, now I'm gonna bring this back to youth sports and the importance of parenting and the right coaches, is that work ethic and that drive, and what, like Drew Brees, who was undersized,
Yeah.
who had an incredible arm, but had to learn different ways around his maybe not being as tall as Tom Brady or as fast as
Yeah.
Michael Vick or some of those other players during that time. I think I'm right around the time frame of him, but he did it by studying, understanding, and being able to get around that. And I don't think that happens if he doesn't have the right support from his parents, and how to think about things and how to understand things from
Yeah.
coaches who are helping him think critically and not kicking him down every time for saying, "Hey, you're not the best player out there. We're not going to play you." Right?
Well,
And that's where it kind of all comes back, and it's like, hey, I think the right system helps out a lot of that.
well, go back to what I
Yeah.
said earlier, like practice, you have a limited time. Coach can only work with kids for so long. You got your game time. At a young age, like I think they will learn more playing with mom and dad in the backyard, sitting down, watching a game together, picking each other's brain on like it's crazy. I thought Brody was gonna give up on baseball pretty early, and he stuck with it, started having more fun last year, really starts to enjoy it now. But now he's, like, becoming a fan of the game, and, like, we'll sit down and watch the Cardinals, and he's asked every play at what's going on. He's absorbing everything now and, like,
Yeah.
really,
That's
getting into
awesome.
it. That's what it takes. Like, it's not from just going out there and, blistering your hands at the cages all day long. Like, you gotta be a student of the game and, like, really be entrenched in it. And yeah, some like you said, some of the greats were, because they did the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree. I agree.
keep it fun, keep them
Yep.
engaged, keep them interested, and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And some other costs, and we'll maybe post some different stuff out here because I think it's kind of cool. Soccer, which we talked about, um, cheap until it isn't. I
Yeah,
think, as you kind of get in the early things, it's a few $100s a year. But then once you start getting into, a lot of the club leagues and everything, that's when it starts to jump in at about $1,200 a year. So it
yeah,
really then jumps up there. But yeah, I mean, rec parks, around $200 a season, which really affordable in that case. And then as we start to talk about, some of the other things, okay. So like one of the cheapest organized team sports is like flag football, which is one of the most popular in the Midwest. I know us North, his son is in it, and we have a couple other friends that are in it. And I'm like, wow. I mean, the cost is just so affordable, and what they give, like the NFL is pouring a lot of money into it,
yeah.
which is smart. I think it's really smart in that case. So it's around a couple $100 a year.
I mean, I don't think we've felt the full brunt of it yet, with our kids being younger, but
No.
dude, I mean, some of these complexes now, like, have you ever I'm sure you've driven by it, but have you guys ever played at that Chesterfield complex in the
Oh yeah.
valley?
Oh yeah.
It is massive, dude.
It's huge.
It's huge, and, like, some of these fields are just
It's huge.
primo, dude, for little
Oh
kids.
dude.
I'm like, okay, like back to the industrial complex part, like private equity is pouring money into these to little league, to build these complexes, to host these tournaments,
Yep.
it's a huge business. And, you got to realize like that some of these travel ball teams, like isn't it the weirdest thing when you hear about a travel ball coach that like doesn't have a kid on the team and they're all
In it.
into it? Like
Yeah.
why there's got to be some kickbacks there, right?
Money.
Yeah, it's just kinda weird, man.
Money. Dude. Yeah.
But
Dude, it's insane. But the good thing is more money pours into it. I love the athletic fields. I love the opportunity. I mean, even in a lot of the high schools, like go back to Oakville, or we were just on Fox's field. It's all turf. I mean, they spent millions of dollars on that thing, and
yeah,
it is freaking gorgeous. I'm like, you remember? I remember I played football my freshman year at Oakville, and we had more weeds than we had grass on that field. And on top of that, I remember my first play as a freshman tight end. I went out there and I got stung by 2 bees that got stuck on my shoe because of all the white dandelions and crap that was out there.
Well, I mean,
Now they have $1 million turf out there. I'm like, wow,
yeah,
where was that?
Oh, think about like places like Texas where football is everything.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they got like college level stadiums for high school down there.
It's just crazy,
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. So with that being said, I mean, I think don't be deterred by the cost. Obviously, find what's right for your kiddos. I know that's easier said than done. There's always lower cost options, but I think as a parent, be supportive. My motto as a coach when I go out there, especially like I'll bring it back in ice hockey. I tell the kids 2 things. All right. Play hockey and have fun. That's the only 2 things I require you do. So, obviously I'll tell them, like, if you're on the ice, laying down, doing snow angels, that's not playing hockey. Like, we got to play hockey. All right. But we got to have fun. All right. If you're not having fun, then let's have a conversation and I'll try to get it fun at that point. Right. So that's what those are my 2 goals. As parents, you should focus in on that. Parents that have older kids out there, obviously just, try to continue to ignite that. Those kids are going through a lot of challenges. If you've never played sports before, I guarantee if they're in high school, they are going through that and they're having a tough time. I've seen so many kids and so many very talented athletes that have dropped out from sports in a late stage in high school because of their coaching or because of a social issue. Get involved, push them, talk with the coaches. Don't just sit back, please. If obviously they make the decision and it's in their heart to move away, let them do that. So, but yeah, so at the end of the day, really focus in on that and just teach your kids to have fun, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
That's number 1 for me.
Number 1, numero uno. So, all right. So that's the episode of Youth Sports for Dad Living today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I know it's a very passionate thing for Johnny and I to kind of get into, but yeah, as you're listening to this, comment on some of the challenges you're going through. Love to hear and spark a conversation and what you think about, obviously like Landon Donovan talking about that, some of the costs and just where your kids are at. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and like shout out to all the good coaches out there because, you're doing head coach right now. I've done assistant coach. Like, it's hard enough with their busy schedules, and I know the level of commitment it takes to all the planning and everything. So it takes a special person to want to do that. So
cheers to all the coaches.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers to you, coaches. So, and don't forget to follow us too. Whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Visit us at dadlivin.com. That's dad, LIVIN.com. So yeah, everyone have a good day, morning, night, wherever you're at. Enjoy.
Yep. All right.
See y'all next time. Bye.